Hello, friends, and welcome to what is sure to be an extraordinarily thorough snap take. We are covering not only Black Swan and Supergiant, but every Spotlight cache this month, along with the specific cards that are coming with Supergiant in these caches. We've got decks for every card and like 10 decks for both Black Swan and Supergiant. Before we get started, though, please hit that sub button, please hit that like, please hit that comment. We're fighting the YouTube algorithm in terms of growing. We're trying to get to 9,000 subs. We're only 200 away. As of right now, what we offer on this channel is fundamentally the most consistent Marvel Snap content. We cover absolutely everything in the most detail. We bring you the best decks in the meta before anyone else can get to them. We also have exclusively the number 1 and number 2 deck on the Marvel Snap Infinite Ladder for you tomorrow. Our giveaway winners will be announced tomorrow as well. We gave away 10 season passes. All 10 of those will be announced at the start of tomorrow's video. Sorry for the extra day. I got this whole slideshow set up early, and I want to give people time to comment on Monday's video. So giveaway winners will be announced tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern. We also, if you would like to enter some more giveaways, maintain an active giveaway sheet. It's every giveaway that's live in Marvel Snap right now. You can check it in the description to this video. You can find some great content and win some free stuff. We're also doing a Marvel Snap League. It starts March 2nd. It is $1 to get in, basically $1 on the Patreon. So check out the Snap Judgments Patreon at patreon.com/snapjudgments. This is basically our way of funding the tournament because we're going to give away prizes. It's pod-based. You only have to play one game a week for 4 straight weeks. We will then have a King of Swiss who gets a season pass, and we go on from there. Astronaut wonders if weekly albums are affecting the lack of variants. I don't think so. I think what they're trying to do in not putting variants for the new Spotlight cards is get us to buy the card with tokens and then open for Spotlights. I'm not doing that, but I think that's what they're trying to do because some people want to have a variant for every card. And a lot of the bigger whales in the game have a bajillion tokens saved up. I personally have 77,000 tokens, something stupid like that. So they want us to use our tokens to buy that card and then use the Spotlight caches to get the variant. But I could be opening 7 Spotlight caches for that, and that seems like a bad deal. So I'm not doing that, but I think that's what they're actually doing. SD Don't Be Evil asks if decks that rely on drawing one card, MODOK, Phoenix Force, and Jane, are worse over large sample, better on ladder than Conquest. I think it's actually the opposite. They tend to work better in Conquest than Ladder if they only want one thing in particular. I've always been more successful with Phoenix Force in Conquest than on Ladder because you can bait people into snapping and you only really need that one big win. The opponent has to know exactly what you're trying to do and pull it off in Conquest. That said, I think the difference between Phoenix Force, MODOK, and Jane is huge. Jane needs one card played before her on 3 or 4. MODOK needs nothing in particular to happen earlier in the game. Phoenix Force needs you to play a 1 or 2 drop and then have time to eat it before you play it. On turn 4 exclusively, you can sometimes get away with turn 5, but it's significantly worse. So Phoenix Force is the most finicky card in the game, I think, right now. And I think that it's different. I do think Phoenix Force is better in Conquest. The other two are about equal in either place. I think Jane is really good on both Ladder and Conquest. I think MODOK tends to be better on Ladder because in Conquest, it has nothing to do with MODOK, but you can usually tell how much power they're going to have after they MODOK in the game. And if you can tell how much power they're going to drop, you have no reason to stay if you know you're going to lose. Pyoshi wants to know what other games held my attention like Snap, and the only game was a Game of Thrones Living Card game. I played it from 2012-ish to 2020. I made content for it. I had 2 major podcasts for it. I loved it. It was great. It's how I met Roy, my co-host on the actual physical podcast of the show, and it was phenomenal. Besides that, I've only played a couple other games and none long enough to really even compete with these 2, nor did I make any content for anything else. If you'd like your questions read out in tomorrow's video, please leave one in the comments. We are finally at Black Swan. Black Swan is a 3/5. We thought she was going to be a 2/3. I think, despite the extra stats, she is a better card at 2/3 than 3/5. She is on reveal until the end of your next turn. Your 1-cost cards cost 0. And I'll just explain quickly why I like her so much better as a as a 2/3, and the answer is fundamentally that I think turn 4 is a turn 4 play of Falcon and Black Swan is humongous. That lets me go kind of off on turn 5, and now I can't do that, right? I can Falcon on 3, but now I'm losing ones, right? And then I've got to Black Swan with something else on 4, and my curve is all awkward. Um, if I Black Swan on 5, I'm opening myself up to counterplay in a way I'm not otherwise. So I think this is like a really, really big hit to the card. However, 3/5 is still really good stats, as anyone who's played Ghost over the last week knows. This card may not be meta, but my working theory is they won't let a Season Pass card ever be bad again. So, the last Season Pass card that was even remotely bad was Phoenix Force, and they immediately buffed that. Dawkins in meta decks, in and out of meta decks the whole time. We know about Loki, we know about Elsa, we know about Ms. Marvel. All these are phenomenal cards. Shaw is probably the second most important card in Surfer decks next to Surfer itself. And then we had Scar, who's just an excellent card that goes in a ton of decks. So I can't imagine they're suddenly going to be like, let's let Black Swan be bad. So Black Swan is good, Black Swan is powerful, all but guaranteed. All right, we only have 2 variants for Black Swan. We don't have a release date for either. There is this Season Pass from In Hyuk Lee that I think is fine. We get that if we buy the Season Pass, and that's the only way to get Black Swan right now, so cool. I'm really, really hoping they put this Incursion one by someone named Rue soon, because I think that's glorious, and that's the one I want. The one with the like planets clashing together. Yeah, I'm all about that variant. All right, Swan synergies. So obviously 1-cost cards, and I listed a whole bunch of 1-cost cards here. We'll go through them quickly. Hood and Demon, which is nice because you can get Hood or Demon. Iceman. Second uses of Iceman are great. You'd have to bounce it first, but still. Nico Minoru has a bajillion good spells. Hopefully you're on the right one when you play Black Swan. Spider Ham, second use is hit or miss, but when it hits real hard. Korg, now congratulations, you for 1 energy played a Rock Slide. Nebula is, I mean, probably not great because this is now a Nebula on turn 4, but hey, it's a good 1-drop. Sunspot can be great, especially if you're planning on fundamentally skipping turn 5. Like you can play on curve Black Swan, and then you can drop a turn 4 like 1-drop Sunspot, Misty, and Nebula, and then you can like say I spent no energy, and then you'll have a cheap She-Hulk on turn 5, or you can do it with Black Swan on turn 4 for a high evolutionary thing, which seems reasonable. We've got Forge. Second uses of Forge are great. Second uses of Hawkeye are great. Kitty loves being free for a turn. Not sure Kitty's good right now. We'll see when they buff Elsa, hopefully in this next patch. We've got Black Knight, who's fine. I don't know if this wants to be in Black Knight decks, but it could, because Black Knight, Blade, Echo are decent, and we might have a new discard. Shell coming later this season, so maybe this is a thing. We've got Ghost Spider, Human Torch, and Iron Fist. I think that combo is nasty good. That deck runs Falcon anyway, and it runs Beast, so why not have an extra way to do its combo? Why the heck not? We've got Quinjet, probably not. Snowguard, probably not. I don't think this is going to be great in Loki, but hey, it doesn't hurt to have. Ant-Man, which could be nice, except this is an ongoing. This is non-reveal. Ant-Man's an ongoing. And then X-23 and Deadpool, that seems like it has potential. And Miek, which would be probably in that Black Knight Blade thing, maybe. And the last card here, I think, is Martyr. I think Martyr is secretly really, really good with this card. All right, so she's going to work absolutely great with Thanos, because Thanos has Infinity Stones, and free Infinity Stones is great. Thanos also means that she's going to be really good with Lockjaw. We've got Bishop, Hitmonkey, and Werewolf by Night to like use these 1-drops to get extra power, moving Werewolf around, extra cards for Hitmonkey, and all triggers for Bishop. Falcon and Bounce Fit, Falcon Beast, etc. Kara will protect all these 1-drops. We'll see if Zoo is good with this, and she's got counters of Supergiant, which can just say if you know they're going to play Black Swan on turn 5, they're planning to play it. On turn 4, you Supergiant. Black Swan doesn't reveal, does nothing. Sandman says good luck with all your 0-cost cards that you can't play. Professor X just says you don't have space to do things. Mobius is sorry, no cost reduction. Killmonger eats all the 1-drops, and Ghost makes sure that you can Killmonger or whatever else you would like to. So there's lots of ways to mess with this card, but it is going to be strong. Cool. We're going to feature a few decks with a lot of these cards. If you have interest in more, come find us in the Marvel Snap Zone Discord. And we've been promoted. We used to have a channel called Podcast Hang with the Hosts. We are now the main general chat in the Marvel Snap Zone Discord. So come hang out, chat with us. We will happily help you. At me on there on Pulse Glazer. Cool. All right, so our first, we like to feature our friends here for these. So we've got our friend Drewberry. Drewberry Snap is the king of new card content and custom card content, although we're doing custom cards tomorrow. Drewberry's got this Thanos Destroy Swan that I think is like just really, really cool. I love this idea. We're going to look at a few Thanos builds, but this is a very cool one. It's running a bunch of 1-drops. Basically, it goes Black Swan, and then it says I can eat the crap. I can play all my 1-drops and eat them on the same turn, which should give me a free death and a big null. Nice and simple, right? Even if all you're getting, and I know Black Swan says 2-3 in here, it's going to say 2-3 all video, I'm sorry. Marvel Snap Zone's deck builder takes it out of the in-game client, and they haven't actually patched the 3-5 in there until they release the card. So here we are. But you can actually just, if you've already used a couple of these cards, just getting a free Deadpool out that with an extra card that you can eat is going to be so strong. You get huge cards. You play all those stones, eat all the stones, and just win, right? Like, this is crazy powerful. You love to see it. I'm not 1000% sure Nova shouldn't just be Forge here, but this is a really cool idea. Next up, we have our friend It's Guest Game, and how you doing, Guest? Guest has a standard Thanos Lockjaw. Again, Black Swan is a 3, so we're running a relatively heavy 3, going Lockjaw, Mobius, Kyra, and Wave, but we should be able to fundamentally counter everything. Killmonger's not messing with us. Sarah in cost reduction and opposing Killmonger is not messing with us with Kyra. Lockjaw says we can cheat out our big things, as does Wave. I'd probably cut Jeff at this point and just say I'm just going to run Stones and run an extra, like an Iron Lad-ish card here instead. But this is just a very strong, very cool deck, where Black Swan says I can just throw a card into Lockjaw for free, which is always nice, or just drop all my stones and have a giant Thanos, which is pretty damn cool too. Swan Thanos Zoo. This is a nice simple zoo build. I wanted to try Hitmonkey in a Thanos shell. There was a version Safety made a bajillion years ago of this that I thought was cool, so here's another one. Fundamentally, you're just trying to go Black Swan, huge Hitmonkey, and then you make all the card 1-drops you played with that Black Swan huge with Blue Marvel and Khazar, and you should be able to win. This seems like it's going to be really good. I know that, like, I'm getting my hopes up, right? And this is usually Copium, the deck, but I think this is going to be really strong, and I'm excited to try it, because Hitmonkey should just be a bajillion power, right? Like, even last turn, if I don't Hitmonkey, right? Let's say I turn 5 Black Swan and Goose or whatever, right? I can still drop a bunch of stones and Blue Marvel last turn and be like, cool, thank you. Pumping up that Bishop plenty, so on and so forth. It just seems like it's going to be so good. All right, we've got Safety's Black Zoo. We love to see it. This is another zoo build. This one's got Valkyrie in it, because Valkyrie is everyone's favorite card. At least everyone cool who hangs out here. This is another simple zoo deck. This one's got Shauna and Squirrel Girl to fill the locations. It's got Blue Marvel. It can end the game with if it goes Black Swan on 5, right? Along with, I don't know, let's say Dazzler for argument's sake. It can just drop an Onslaught on a Khazar and be like, oh, those few 1-drops I dropped, they're huge, have fun. And it's just really strong. Sorry, yeah, you can drop just on. Sorry, again, you can drop Onslaught and a bunch of 1-drops to end the game. That's like so good. All right, here's a move deck. This is again Safety. Safety is a freaking genius. I don't know if y'all know this, but Safety is like one of the best deck builders in all of Marvel Snap. He writes for Marvel Snap Zone. He Twitch streams. He's on Twitter. You can find him multiple ways. This is so freaking cool. This is the one that look, I love me some Human Torch move. I know it's dangerous. If there's not Killmonger all over the freaking place, I'm gonna play this. This one just says I can make my werewolf go crazy as I'm making myself like a 40 power Human Torch. If I make a huge Human Torch, that wins a lane. Werewolf wins a lane, or Shang-Chi wins a lane. Bishop's huge. This was better, again, when Black Swan costs 2. Because then you can go 1/1/1, Falcon Black Swan. But now you can't do that, unfortunately, which really hurts this deck. But outside of that, it's just so strong, and it's so good. All right. Darkhawk Bounce. We love Darkhawk Bounce. Again, this is a Darkhawk bounce that's going with a Hitmonkey, old school style, and Werewolf, so it's going all in all the way, different ways it can be obnoxious. It can win just standard Disruption, big Darkhawk, Black Swan, play all my ones, great, enjoy yourself, have a great old time. I'm not sure Kitty Pride is right here anymore, but whatever. Um, or it can win by going, okay, Black Swan one drops Hitmonkey, Black Swan one drops into with Werewolf bouncing all over the place is going to be crazy strong. There's a lot of ways to win with this, and this just feels super disruptive. Okay, this is one more bounce deck. Please note the difference. This is no Darkhawk package, instead runs Beast. This is, I mean, bluntly, very similar to my bounce list, except it runs Werewolf over Iron Man. And otherwise, this is basically the bounce list that I hit Infinite with. Was it last season? Yeah, last season I hit Infinite with Bounce. It all runs together, right? I've hit Infinite every season. Sorry. But like it's starting to like blend. But I ran Spider Ham over Iceman, and in that Black Swan spot I ran Shadow King, and then I ran Iron Man over Werewolf. So it's the shell that like Lambie ended up taking and now Safety's taking. So it's whatever. This deck is really good. This deck is one of my favorites. This is how to play it. I think, look, I could hit Infinite with this tomorrow. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I just could. This is going to be incredible because bounce is always incredible and people aren't ready for it unless the whole meta decides, hey, you know what? Sandman and Supergiant. This is absolutely sick. Honestly, this could probably beat Supergiant, even if you don't get to Black Swan. It doesn't need Black Swan, right? Like Black Swan's a nice tool, but not needed one. So if they play Supergiant, you just drop Hitmonkey, right? You drop Hitmonkey that turn, it won't reveal, and then you play the bajillion other cards the next turn, and your Hitmonkey will still be huge. It will get all the energy from your turn 6 plays. Swan by Night. I built this a million years ago, back when I had to pull out Collector, which is I think what I replaced Black Swan, because I built this that long ago. But this is the old bounce deck, the old what's his name? Lambie built this. This was the best deck in the game for a while. It had Zabu when we realized Werewolf is a 4 along with Loki, and it adds Black Swan because look at all those ones, and then it should be really strong. This is another one I'm going to mess with. I would not be shocked if this was a meta deck again. And then this, I don't even know what this is, but it's our friend Den's, and we love Den. So this is some jank. I don't think this is going to be good, but it certainly is cool, right? You've got Moon Girl, and Moon Girl is so fun. And if you could Moon Girl like Martyr Titania, and then Moon Girl Martyr Titania, and then play Black Swan, that's just a massive amount of power for no energy, right? You can do that with Blue Marvel, which just seems silly. Like it's just silly, right? You just get a bajillion power. If you've got Quinjet out, just for the love of, oof, you're gonna dominate. How common is that gonna be? I have no idea. There's nothing like this deck currently in the game, but I'm gonna play it because this is some jank, right? This is some cool jank. Props to Den for this idea, by the way. Like, wow. Okay, Teebs had my favorite Kazoo deck in the game for a while, and when they built the deck, this I mean, look, it was different. It ran Echo and it ran Doctor Doom. So I threw in Black Swan and Kyra. And it's otherwise the same deck. Basically, we're saying if I get Kyra out and then I go Black Swan, right? Now I can drop all my one drops and they're completely protected and fine. And then I can just go Kazar and Blue Marvel last turns of the game and win. And that seems like probably a good pattern. All right. I built this. I don't know if it's good. Certainly doesn't look good, but it certainly looks fun. It's a bounce double kill thing. I guess technically it's not bouncing, right? It's saying I'm going to play one drops and make them be dead. And then when I make them be dead, I'm going to copy either She-Hulk or Death and play skip 5 and go She-Hulk, Hitmonkey, or skip 5 and go, or sorry, play on 5 and then go Death, Hitmonkey. And then I can play like Mysterio or whatever else, just have 10 million power. Black Swan just lets me get everything out to kill it easily, right? Like if I Black Swan on 3, I play all my ones on 4. Then on turn 5, I can go Carnage and Moon Girl. Sorry, I can't go Carnage and Moon Girl. That is wrong. I can go, I don't know. I guess on turn 5, I can go Killmonger and just hope for the best. I could drop Hitmonkey. I monkey when I play those ones and then just play a cheap death to end the game. I don't know if this works. I'm just trying some stuff out to figure out how this card works. Cool. All right, final thoughts. Cost reduction is always broken sooner or later. And Black Swan is cost reduction. Cost reduction has literally never been less than great once enough time passes. It's going to look worse than it ever will otherwise this week because Black Swan comes out at the same time. Black Swan's a direct counter to it, and everyone knows that everyone's going to be playing it, so it will be countered. It'll then look worse this month than any other month, as season pass cards tend to be worse in their month outside of Loki and also who are stupid in their month, and then they get better and better as the time passes. But it's still cost reduction snap, so it's going to be great eventually. And if you buy the season pass, you get 1,500 extra gold and 4 extra variants, and it's one less Series 5 to get later. We did the math. There's a video that I link in every video. It's also in the channel fact. Actually, I hope it's in the channel fact. I don't know if I put it in the channel fact yet. I need to put it in the channel fact that goes over how to optimize your spending in Marvel Snap. And it turns out that by buying the season pass and optimizing your spending, you can get like all but like 2 or 3 of the new cards every single year. Whereas if you don't buy the season pass, you get less than half. So like buying the season pass is just utterly and ridiculously beyond worth it. So please, please, please get the season pass if you intend to keep up with the game. Cool. All right. Before we look at this month, keep in mind that there's no skip weeks anymore. There is a new card that releases the same week as the season pass. The patch will be live later today, as far as we know. Who knows what it changes, so we're not even going to speculate. I like to assume Elsa's going to get buffed because Glenn said Elsa was going to get buffed. Hopefully it's now, whatever the problem is, right? Yeah. Next month's new cards seem good, but the only other important Series 5 in caches is Ms. Marvel in week 2. So Ms. Marvel is finally showing up week 2 of March. There is no other real important Series 5 that you're holding out for in March that we know of right now. We're going to look at all the spotlight caches for the month, then dive deep onto this week, because ultimately what you're deciding on, whether you're opening or not, is you're deciding on context. So if you would like to check out Marvel Snap Zone, we also either Wednesday or Thursday morning will have a ranking of every card from over 50 credits, and we're at like 57 or 58, and we like tally them up, and then we rank the cards based on everyone's aggregate votes, so you'll get a real good feel for what's good, what's bad this month. All right. Our card for the week is, I gotta sneeze and it's not coming out, so this is brutal. But our card for the week is 2/7. It is Supergiant. 2/7, that's the date. I'm so silly. Sorry, I was thinking about my sneeze. All right. So Supergiant is a 4/5, Series 5, 6,000 tokens, we think. On reveal, all cards played next turn don't reveal until the game ends. That's wildly strong. I can't imagine this is going to be bad. Some people are like, I don't know, I don't get it. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, right? But every major play in the game right now is a turn 5 play. Whether it be Annihilus, whether it be Sarah, whether it be Jane Foster, whether it be Professor X, whether it be etc. etc. Supergiant, I think, has to be good. We're going to dive much deeper into this card later in this video, but I'm just going to tell you right now, your TLDR is I think Supergiant's probably worth getting. All right. Our spotlight variants for this week, and again, we will give you decks for Darkhawk and Zabu. I love that they put Darkhawk and Zabu together because those cards go together. They are both extraordinarily strong cards. Zabu is probably the most important 4-drop in the game, and Darkhawk goes amazingly well with Zabu and amazingly well with Supergiant. So all of these combos work ridiculously well together. This is beautiful. I think that Zabu is phenomenal. I think this Darkhawk is absolutely great. Darkhawk is one of the cards like Storm that has all good variants. I don't love this Supergiant variant. Do I like it more than the original? I don't know. The original, like, I kind of like the chillin' version. You've seen me with my arms up this video, right? I don't know if I like this one better. It's not like an action pose. It's just kind of there. Also, the weird, like, shell covering her private parts. What are we doing here? Whatever. All right, Cull Obsidian is our next card. We don't know Cull's series. Cull was Series 5 when first data mined, then Series 4, and then in the video it was Series 5, but those videos have been wrong before, so I'm just going to assume it's Series 5 for the time being, but who the hell knows? I don't have an answer for you. I'm really sorry. Cull Obsidian releases 2/14, Valentine's Day. It is 4/10. you can only play this card where you have a 1-cost card, and we know from asking Glenn that if you stage the 1-cost card the same turn you play Call Obsidian, let's say you play Zabu, and then you play a Soulstone and call in the same lane on turn 4, that will count. That will count for playing Call. This is straight up power creep. This is a really great card. Think about what you have to deal with to get Centuries 10 power. Think of what you have to deal with to get, I don't know, what are the other cards that we're comparing this to? Typhoid Mary. Think of like what you have to do to get a 4/10. In most cases, you have to build a whole deck around Darkhawk, etc., etc. Meanwhile, Cull just comes out, is 4/10. So I think that he probably goes in bounce. He goes in Thanos. I don't see a big reason not to run him a lot of places, to be perfectly honest. Compare him to Crossbones, right? Who's got a more restrictive ability and is only 4/8. So Call Obsidian is stellar. This is an absolutely great card. Again, I don't like the art this week, but I am opening caches basically no matter what, because I need Thanos. I need this Thanos in particular. This Thanos is fantastic. I want the Infinity Gauntlet Thanos. Do I care about this Nimrod? No, but I have a hip, so I'm good with Nimrod. I'm getting the Thanos. Nothing will stop it. I have the keys already set. I want that Thanos. As far as opening, assuming that Cull is a Series 5, you should 100% open if you don't have Thanos and Cull. Cool. You should 100% open if you don't have Thanos and Cull. Thanos is in and out of the meta as the best deck. Constantly. Thanos is always, always, always meta relevant, always powerful, always worth having. Go get you a Thanos this week. I would, okay, if I didn't have Zabu, I would open Zabu and Supergiant. And then after that, I would open Cull and Thanos. And then nothing else this month comes close to these two. All good? All right, we next have Corvus Glaive 221 release. He's a 3/5. Hey, just like Black Swan. Gotta get used to saying Black Swan. It's ridiculous. Black Swan is like barely a Marvel character, so I never remember the stupid name. Corvus Glaive is in the MCU movies in a prominent role, and just a cool character if you've read enough comics. All right, Series 5, 6,000 tokens. On reveal, discard 2 cards from your hand to get +1 max energy. And I think this card combines with the next card to create a brand new deck. I think there's going to be a discard good stuff deck. Much like there's Darkhawk good stuff as a package, much like there's now the Jane's Thor package, much like there's now the Annihilus package, etc. I think that Corvus Glaive, along with Proxima Midnight, and probably like Wolverine and Swarm, are just going to create a package. Maybe Ghost Rider. We'll see if Ghost Rider fits. I don't actually know for sure. But I think this is a package. I think it's also going to be a really, really strong package. So I think it's going to be harder to use, more finicky, and I'm less sure about this than the previous cards. But I think it's very likely to be good. This is another one that's hard to not open if you don't have these cards. Gladiator is in a ton of meta decks. Also, great variant. This is, I mean, it's a Peach Momoko for X23 with wolves in the background. It's phenomenal. And X23 is a must-have for destroy decks. So, like, it's really, really hard not to open this week. They're putting all the big cards, right? You want Zabu. If you can afford to buy Zabu, buy Zabu. But if you need Zabu and Darkhawk, you're opening, right? Then Thanos. I'd probably want Thanos over Gladiator or X23. And I definitely want Cull over Corvus, right? But what if I need Gladiator and X23? Now it's really complicated, right? This month is going to be a month where you have to decide what you want to play. Got it? You must decide what you want to play this month. There is no way around that. If you want to play decks that run Zabu, you have to open that week. If you want to play Thanos decks, you have to open that week. If you want to play Destroy decks or Sarah, you have to open this week. Got it? That's how you have to make that decision. Next up, we have Proxima at the end of the month, right before Leap Year Day. I love Leap Year Day. Proxima is a 4/7. What the hell? A 4/7 that's going to be free. Series 5, 6,000 tokens. When this is discarded, it jumps to your lowest power location that isn't full. I mean, okay, free 4/7 sounds good. Thank you very much. I feel like they want us to run cards like Gambit and Moon Knight, and they're just like, all right, let's give you some reasons to. Honestly, if you just run her with MODOK, though, you're pretty damn happy. I don't know if I'd get her without MODOK and Corvus, though. I think those are her, like, key cards. I think with MODOK and Corvus, she's great. Without it, she's fine. It's hard to choose to discard her otherwise. But hey, it's a free 4/7. I do not like the Spotlight variant at all, but they gave you the package that goes with her. right? Like this is literally how you play her. There is, if you want Proxima, you need Modok and Dakin. Great, they're one package. I like that they did that. So Proxima, Modok, and Dakin are a package. That is a discard package. Good. This is not a package. Gladiator Next 23 is not a package. Thanos and Nimrod are certainly not a package, but Zabu and Darkhawk are. I like that you can choose 2 different weeks to open and just basically open a deck. So if you're very early Series 3, please do it that way. Choose to open a deck. However, on the downside, both decks that you can open are double Series 4 cards. So you're getting less value, but you are getting basically a full deck out of the deal. Is that worth more than saving the tokens, getting Series 5 cards? That's for you to decide. Figure out what deck you want to play. Open for that specific deck. I know if you're a discard stan, you have to be here and you have to open for Corvus and you have to open for this, so save. If you want to play, but like Zabu is so good. Y'all, Zabu is so good. Zabu is like the ultimate token buy. He's probably the best card in Snap right now. Cool. Let's go. All right, Supergiant. We read it already, but once again, all cards played next turn don't reveal until the game ends, so you basically get to turn off turn 5. Bye, Sarah. Bye, Leech. Let's do the full thing. So she's good with Hela Modok. If you can ramp, play her, then play Hela, then you can play Modok. Hela reveals at the end of the game, you win. That's nice. There's a deck that does that. We'll look at it in a little bit. She's also great with Eliath. You can those cards aren't released until the end of the game. You play Eliath on turn 6. Eliath eats those cards in freaking joy. If you're ramping, you can ramp. If you can get priority, right? You can ramp. Play her. It has to be Electro, although I guess it could be Corvus. You can ramp, play her. Then you can play Odin. That's not going to reveal, and play Eliath in that lane and just get the double that way. Or you can play even better. You can play Grandmaster in that lane into like the left or right lane, and then play Eliath, and then Grandmaster is gonna I guess no. Grandmaster will double that Eliath. I guess that actually might not work. It'll kill all the unrevealed things if you keep Prio, but it won't kill the other stuff. Whatever, you'll be fine. You should probably win that game. It's also good if you lose Prio. If you're like planning to lose Prio, you can drop Shang in the invisible spot, assuming they're going to do something big there, or Enchantress or whatever. Once you can read their deck. What it really does, though, is it counters the living crap out of Sarah, Leech, Modok. It literally says those are bad cards now. It's really solid against Destroy, who often want to get that last Destroy off on 5. It wrecks Black Bolt. It wrecks Professor X. It says you have 1 turn to Loki or Phoenix, not 2. It says your classic Shuri Taskmaster might have a problem. If you go Shuri, you're going to have to go Taskmaster then, right? And then play on Shuri that other turn. It ruins your turn 5 plays on Wong, because if you want to Odin them, they're not going to reveal, and then Odin's going to pop up on Wong, but there won't be another card revealed there. It wrecks the face off Nimrod decks. It wrecks the face off Dr. Octopus. You can also play it on 4, then drop Hitmonkey, and then drop a bajillion cards on turn 6 without worrying about that 3 cost, which seems pretty freaking solid. And then it should be very good with Martyr and Atuma. Martyr is a 1/5 that just doesn't move because the game is over, and Atuma doesn't destroy itself because the game is over when they reveal. And finally, Zabu lets you play it for cheaper with 1 more turn. I don't hate the idea of a turn 4 play of Martyr and Martyr for priority along with Supergiant. Again, check out, we're not in the podcast chat with the host section. I didn't edit this slide well enough. Sorry. We're in the general section of the Marvel Snap Zone Discord, so check us out. All right, our first deck is from our friend Doc D. We got Doc D's Shuri Red Skull. This is really cool. You can do the standard Shuri Red Skull, or if you go Black Swan on 4, you can go Taskmaster and then play Blob. And just say, cool, I've got like a 20 power Blob-ish, right? You might want to throw an extra powerful card in here or 2, but a 20 power Blob that Taskmaster will then reveal and copy. Then you win, right? If you can figure out where to do that, you should be really strong. Here we go. It's Guest Gaming. I love this. Way to be, Guest. Has this Cerebro 5. Guest is going to go... I don't love that this has to run Luke, but it does. But it's basically just saying, okay, so Supergiant says 5, and then I can drop my Cerebro on turn 5 with like a Silka Lizard. and then they don't know to like fill that lizard location, right? And Cerebro's not going to get Enchantress probably, and then I should be able to win. And then you just play Doom or whatever other crap on the last turn, and you should be super duper strong. Just basically turning all your fives into more power is good. This was almost a meta deck when for a while, and it fell out. But like, hey, maybe it's back. We've got a lockdown list. This is probably the most likely place it's going to work. I don't enjoy playing lockdown. I'm good at lockdown. Lockdown's been my highest win rate deck a couple seasons. I play everything because I have to in order to give advice, in order to explain things properly. But lockdown is not something I enjoy. I'm worried that lockdown is just Supergiant's best place because like you just go Supergiant and then you go something like Claw, right? And then if you go Claw, you go Eliath or Doom and win. Your opponent doesn't know that that claw's there, right? You can go Iron Lad after, you can go Ms. Marvel after it, and just win. There's not a lot your opponent could do. And of course, you still have the like just storm into Jessica Jones nonsense as a play. This is going to be good. We have a Ronin deck. This is a Den Beauty. I think this is brilliant. Basically, Atuma, again, right? We talked about that, but you can also throw Master Mold and Maximus out that turn. And if you throw Master Mold and Maximus out that turn, the draw doesn't help them. And that seems like it's probably really, really strong, right? You go Master Mold and Maximus, and then at the end of the game, they're getting +4 cards, which is +8 power to Ronin, plus whatever they already had in hand. That seems like it's strong. Ronin's really good right now. I think this is one of the better decks. This looks. You can also do, of course, the Taskmaster thing, where you go Supergiant into Taskmaster and then play Destroyer, for example. Maybe this one's Shuri. No, it can't do Shuri, right? Because it has to Supergiant that turn. But at that point, you play Blob or Destroyer, and then you go Taskmaster. That becomes huge, and that seems like a good way to win some games of Snap too. We have our Hella Tribunal. This is the standard list that everyone will be running. Although I guess it doesn't usually run Scar. It can run Scar. It could run a 14 power thingy majig, whatever that's called. A little Giganto. It's basically saying, okay, so Supergiant is our backup Invisible Woman here. We've got magic, so we've got the extra turn to do the thing. So we can go Supergiant on 5 to play Hella on 6 and Modok on 7. Not bad, right? Not bad at all. It's cool. It gives us a chance if we don't draw Invisible Woman. Having redundancy in this deck seems like it's really powerful. And honestly, it doesn't super hate having the 5 power from Supergiant. So it's pretty good. We've got another build of Lockdown. This is my version of Lockdown. Was this the same list as the previous one? This is basically, oh no, this one runs Vision. Because I figured if I didn't Supergiant, I wanted that extra big power card. It's otherwise very similar. I built this literally like forever ago. But hey, it should be pretty damn good. All right, we've got a Darkhawk list because it's a 4-cost card, and you can hide your Shang-Chi and Enchantress. So you go Zabu, you hide a stronger Enchantress, and then you Goliath. Right? If you've got priority, you can Goliath, and then if they have something else big, it's going to reveal later. Shadow King is great there too. Or you can just throw your Darkhawk behind it and just be like, this is power you can't touch. Ms. Marvel, this is power you can't touch. Those all seem like they're really powerful things to do. Big Dumb Secret. This is Gunny's Big Dumb Idiot decks. Gunny T is a friend of ours. We did the top 10 tips to hit Infinite yesterday, and those come from our friend Gunny. They're modified by me and explained by me, but they're from our friend Gunny. So this is that deck, but hey, why the hell not run Supergiant and say I can do other shenanigans stuff with it? This probably wants Taskmaster, but your opponent will have no idea how much power you're putting out there if you go Supergiant, which is really, really good. You can just drop a bajillion power. You can get your Maximus without any trouble. You can hide from a Shang-Chi, etc., etc., and your opponent has to read everything correctly or they're just dead. All right, we've got our Iron Patriot Classic. I feel like Supergiant might just be good in like protecting ongoing stuff. So this is still one of the best decks. People just don't play it anymore. If you maybe Ravona wants to be Zabu, but I think I want Supergiant because if you go Ravona, right, and then you end up with Supergiant on 4, and let's say you play Brood, whatever, on 3, you end up Supergianting on 4, you can go Patriot and Mystique on 5, which is really good. Or you can go, you can play Supergiant on 5 and go Iron Man and Mystique on 6 and just win that way. Or if you get priority, right? Like let's say you go Brood Absorbing Man, you can go something like Forge Supergiant if you have priority, and then you can go Eliath. That seems like it's really good too. Right, we have our move list. Oh wait, excuse me. You'd want to still Supergiant on 4, so you'd have to get priority early. You'd go like Mr. Sinister into Brood into Supergiant. Cool. If you did that and you got Prio, then you could do whatever and then Eliath, which is pretty damn good. Okay, now we have our move list. Again, I'm just looking at like good stuff shells that can run Eliath. This is one, right? Like Captain Marvel has sort of anti-synergy with Supergiant, but I think Arrow should be completely hilarious with Supergiant, saying, no, I'm going to move whatever I want, wherever I want, and you can't do anything about it. This deck is also built under the impression that Elsa is going to be a 3-3 that gives everything +2, because at that point, Captain Marvel, Jeff, and Kitty are all great with it. I just think this is going to be good. I'm not sure Supergiant fits here, but I'm also not sure it doesn't. I think, again, any deck that runs Eliath wants to at least consider the card. I believe this is our last one. This is trying to actually take advantage of the monkey thing. You can go Beast. Again, same concept as Elsa before, right? You can go Beast, you can go Bast, etc. You're losing 2 on Supergiant. When on Beast, you'll be fine. And then you're saying, I go big, I go wide. I can play a bajillion cards last turn. Let's say you Beast on 3, and you get back a demon, a hood, a kitty, something like that. Then you can go Supergiant and go hit monkey on 5 with Elsa, for example. Oh no, that you're 1 off, assuming Elsa becomes 3. If Elsa doesn't become 3, you can play both of them, and then last turn you play all your 1s and Mysterio. You fill up your board, you have a super huge hit monkey. You win. Cool. Alright, so does Supergiant look good? She stops every powerful deck right now, so the meta has to shift if she's any good. Not sure if she has a home, and it's possible she doesn't, but she at least probably works in Darkhawk and Lockdown, which are the 2 places that most want to stop your bullshit, which is probably interesting. She sounds like she's a wait and see until Friday, unless the other cards change our calculus. And we already know that Zabu is going to change our calculus, right? If you have 3,000 tokens and you don't want Supergiant, just buy Zabu. Just buy Zabu. You want Zabu. It will help you in Marvel Snap to own Zabu. It is the best and most important card right now, and when it's not, like, it's like Thanos, where when it's not the best, it will be again soon. Except Zabu goes in more different types of deck, because Thanos obviously goes in Thanos decks. 2/2 Series 4, 3,000 tokens, former Season Pass, can't believe it hasn't Series dropped. Ongoing, your 4 cost cards cost 1 less, minimum 1. So it's a must-have card for the current Lambi Control. The current Lambi Control really wants Zabu, so it can go Zabu and Sarah, and then play like Shang-Chi, Ms. Marvel, and Enchantress to end the game, and that's just stupidly overpowered. It's great in that deck. Zabu should be here. We've also got the Hella Enjoyer Living Tribunal deck, which means basically anytime someone stops playing ways to kill locations or doesn't play Enchantress, this deck goes completely wild. It puts a crap ton of power on the board by basically going Iron Man into Onslaught into Tribunal and saying, enjoy my 10 bajillion power all over the board. Good luck beating that consistently. And then, like, there's just enough other power elsewhere that it's pretty good. But it does need Zabu, because getting a Jubilee, Iron Lad, Ms. Marvel, etc. out are really strong. We've got Shuri Enjoyers, Annie Billy. We covered this deck, when the hell did we cover this? Yesterday on the channel? No, 2 days ago on the channel. This is Shuri Enjoyers, the number 3 ranked player in Marvel Snap. Don't know if he's going to finish there, but currently the number 3 ranked player in Marvel Snap. This is fundamentally a brilliant deck that also relies on Zabu. You're running the Jane Foster Thor's package, right? Thor, Jane, and Beta Ray Bill. You're also running Yellow Jacket because you can get that, protect your sentry. All that stuff will bounce around a werewolf, or you can have negative power cards that you end up giving away with Annihilus, which also works pretty damn well. You put a ton of power out. This deck is completely wild, but again, werewolf, Beta Ray Bill, sentry. You need Zabu. Owie's Nimrod Destroy. This deck is completely wild. It breaks my brain. It's the most fun thing in the world. It needs, you guessed it, Zabu, because you really want to, where possible, go Shuri and Wong. You're running Magic also to help you go Shuri and Wong. If you can go Shuri and Wong, your Panther or Nimrod are nuts. If your Panther is nuts, you drop Odin Tribunal and you win. If your Nimrod is nuts, you drop Destroyer on Wong and you guessed it, you win. But again, Zabu required. All right, I think we're getting the idea. Here's a more standard good stuff version. This is my favorite Beta Ray Bill deck outside of the weird Lockjaw one that I feature sometimes. This is Safetyblade's version. It's the most successful one at any rate. It basically says, I'm going to do the Sarah thing without Sarah and instead run the Thor's package. And then I'll just have more stats and win. This should cut Killmonger right now and run Ghost. The most recent versions do, but the version I grabbed apparently was slightly older, whatever. This deck is super duper strong. It's very, very powerful. It says I can build myself a giant Beta Ray Bill, which is going to win a lane, and then I'll win another lane with my tech. And Ms. Marvel will put me over the top. All right. We also have Darkhawk. Darkhawk is probably the most consistently good card top deck in the game. It's up there with Thanos, and Darkhawk's decks are Zabu decks. So we're going to not look at Darkhawk without Zabu. We're not even going to pretend. You want them both together. Series 4, 3,000 tokens, 4-0. Ongoing, +2 power for each card in your opponent's deck. Your opponent should have 3 cards in their deck at the end of most games, which means Darkhawk is a 4-6. But you add a Corrigan Rock Slide, and now it's a 4-12. You add a Widow, and now it's a 4-14, which is just through the roof stats. It's also a ton of disruption to make him good, so it's good in both control and sort of like good stuff combo. Our first deck is going to be our Den Double Up deck. This is from a million years ago, but nothing has changed about how good this deck is. It fundamentally says, I will stop you from drawing, and if I can get a Quinjet and Zabu out, and then Moon Girl, then my double Darkhawk or double Darkhawk Mystique is completely freaking busted, and I win. It's a good I win button. Zabu is again needed here. You can try Ravonna in that spot, but like Moon Girl and Ms. Marvel are in the deck, so what are you really doing? We also have Leechhawk. This is one of the best decks right now. This is from our friend Ika. I know it says Set Camper, but Ika made the original version of this before anyone was playing Leech. And then it got put into the meta as we all started covering it like crazy because Ika is brilliant. If you want to see a different Ika deck, check yesterday's video. But this is a nice, simple build. It says I do a bunch of disruptive Darkhawk Zabu stuff, and then I play Leech on 5, and then I go either Tech or Doom on 6, and I win. Okay, let's keep going. We have our Beta Ray Bill list. This is our Beta Ray Darkhawk list. I don't know where this came from, but the win rate's really, really high. Again, I think this actually might be both Alex Kochia and Fazer came up with basically the same deck. I think this is basically that deck. It's great. It's super strong. This is it. You should play it if you can. It does the Thor's thing again and the Jane thing. So it does the Jane thing, sorry. And it does the Darkhawk package of stuff for disruption. And then it wins games of Snap. That seems like a good place to be. And finally, we have Bounce Hawk. We're going to cover this deck relatively soon. This is really cool. I don't know where the hell this came from. Googly89 is like a top 10 player in Snap, and Pogi Bonzi is finishing either first or second this season. He's whose deck we're going to cover, and he and .geo are playing the same deck. So we're going to cover their decks tomorrow. This is wildly good. It is fundamentally running the full-ass Darkhawk package, but it also said, but what if I had Werewolf for 1,000,000 power as what I did with the rest of the deck? This is, again, really, really strong. Werewolf loves all this cheap stuff to make it fly around, and then like you make that cheap stuff have extra power, or you play a few demons, etc., and you win. This is stellar, like really, really good stuff. All right, so should you open this week? Zabu and Darkhawk are must-have cards. If you need both, just suck it up and open these. Unless you're sitting on 6,000 tokens, then there's very little better to buy than these two cards. In fact, if you need either, I'd suggest you open for all, but again, it depends. You have to decide on what you want to play. If you need just Supergiant, just wait, but buy Scar. That should say, but buy Black Swan. I'm going to have to learn that stupid card's name, but buy Black Swan. Just trust me. You'll feel better for buying the season pass. Use your gold to buy big bundles, save up, and you will be able to get every card if you optimize. Cool. All right, like to thank some members of our Patreon. This is an older version of this. I'm really sorry. We're going to thank Models, Pretty Chill, Father Newman, Inc., No Flex, Mentor Burnett, Matt Conduit 23, Josh Apodaca, Rob Silverman, Matt H., Rob Rivern, who's not with us anymore, but much love, Rob, Abigail Giesland, Direwolf, Oculars, JD McDonaldino, and the homie Min. And we will update that list for next time. Sorry about that, my friends. Much love, much appreciation. Thank you so much for bearing with me for this incredibly long video. If you made it this far, you should probably hit sub. Check the Patreon. $1, you get to compete against some of the biggest names in Marvel Snap. See you tomorrow for another Snap Take. We have a second video today. Peace.